Hi, I'm Henry Chamberlain. Happy New Year, and welcome to this edition of Board Briefings. You may wonder what's over my shoulder. Well, 91 years ago, that's what BOMA looked like at an annual conference. And as we were remarking a little bit ago, a lot of hats in that picture. But what do you think those folks were thinking about 91 years ago about what was BOMA going to be like in the future? Advocacy group, trainer, what were we going to be like? And the folks that were serving on the board back then were saying to themselves, what's my legacy going to be? And that's a conversation I started with BOMA Orlando last month as we were doing leadership training, was to start off the day by saying, you're serving on this board, which is a privilege. And maybe you're going to be on the board for 2 or 3 years as a term, maybe you'll be reelected and serve 4, 5, 6 years. But when all is said and done and when you come out the other side, what do you want to be remembered for? Is it advocacy? Is it building codes? Is it the fact that City Hall now wants to call BOMA on any issues, whether again it's a building code or a tax issue or something happening in the community that they're going to call the organization? Is it training? Do you want to bring people into your company, get them involved in designations, BOMA education? Do you want to train them to be the best workforce they can be in the future? Because let's face it, they're going to be fixing the problems that we're making now in the economy, but they're also going to be creating the high performance properties of tomorrow. So do you want to be known for that? Business networking, do you want to be known for the group that's inclusive around the industry, that makes things happen in the marketplace? Do you want to get more involved in the research, the standards, the codes work that we do? What do you want to be remembered for when you come out the other side? 35 years ago, this organization moved from Chicago to Washington, and it was the dream that BOMA would become the champion on the federal level for advocacy. And as we've done that over the years and encapsulated it, building codes. We work with ASHRAE, the International Code Council, but back then people were wondering what that was going to be. As I've worked with ASAE and been involved in the Public Relations Society of America, I've really focused on a couple of things. I like to mentor people, make sure the resources are there to get people into the industry and into the great jobs of the future, really establishing the advocacy potential for the groups, very involved in Political Action Committee with ASAE, because that's extremely important that our interests on the not-for-profit side are represented on Capitol Hill. So I really want you all to think about, and maybe have a conversation about, do your consent agenda and then focus on something, and maybe it's going to be the legacy, but where do you want to take your intellectual capital and your personal energy, and where do you want that contribution to go, and what do you want to be remembered for out the other side, for the kind of service, the kind of people you bring in, the strength of this organization. And when you look back at these folks, 103 years ago, this organization started off on the premise of performance benchmarking and sharing data, and we've grown from there. So what do you want to be remembered for 10, 20, 30 years as you continue your participation and people talk about your organization? What are you going to be remembered for? So think about legacy. Thank you.